All right, so this video just demonstrates how to display data in a columnar format in Pascal. Now, one of the methods that we can use is simply using the write line statement. However, this one comes with a number of dropbacks. So let's say we just want to display the value of count. So this will display the values below each other going down. All right, as you can see here. All right, now what if we want to do something more interesting? For example, display the values and their square. So we could have something like this. It's going to display the values on their square. I'm going to put a little space between. So that will be count times count. All right, so here we go. All right, if you notice that the 100 is not fully in line, all right, and that is simply because 10 here has two columns, as in 10 has two spaces, whereas the others have just one. All right, so that's why it's somewhat out of line. All right, now there is a more precise method that can be used. So we can use what is called the go to XY to also line up the information on the screen. To have a pictorial view of what go to XY work, how go to XY works, let's look at this picture. So your screen looks like this. We work with a width of 80, a height of 24, as indicated here. So if we indicate that we want to go to 1, so 1 on the X would be about here. 1 on the Y would be here. So how the go to XY works, if we want to position the text here, we would simply say go to XY, say 1, 1. And this would put the text in the position here, 1 that lines up with 1 on the X and 1 on the Y. All right, so our text would come about here. All right, if we want to put our text somewhere like down here, all right, let's say in this particular column, so it would be 1 on the X, and it would come down probably about 12 on the Y. So we'd have something like go to XY. That would be like 1, 12. All right, and that would put your that would position your text somewhere about here, midway in the screen. All right. So let's look at how this would be implemented in Pascal. So displaying the same information that we have here. So what we would say is very simple. So let's say go to XY. And we could start printing at position 1, comma. I want to put Y there because that value is going to change as we go down. And I'm going to go to XY. So 1 is for column 1, as in X1. And I'm going to go over to about 20. Or, yeah, about 20. Y. All right. And I'm going to just write this. All right, so when I'm using the go to XY, it doesn't matter if you use right or right line, because the go to XY will actually position the text. All right, so let's see. So what we're going to do now, we're going to define a variable, the variable Y, that's going to keep track of the row that we're displaying the data in. All right. Or I could actually use row since I already have row defined there. So I'm gonna put row here, row here. I'm gonna indicate where I want the row to start. I'm gonna start the row at 1. So I'm gonna say row. I'm gonna initialize row to 1. And then we have to definitely increment row, otherwise it will just display everything in one row. So I'm gonna say row is equal to row plus 1. All right, so let's run this and see. All right, so there it is. So the information is much more precisely displayed. All right, as you can see there, very much in line. Now, what would have happened if we didn't increment the row? Let's see. So everything would have been displayed in one row, all right, because the value of row would not change from 1. But as the value changes, when we increment, then the information is displayed in different rows. All right. All right, I will show you even another example. All right, let's look at this one. So for this one, I'm going to be prompting the user for some names, contact, and age. So what I did here, I defined 4 arrays to store the information. 1 to store the name, 1 to store the last name, contact, the age. So all of these will be stored in arrays. And I have a count variable and I have a y variable. All right, so this is what happens. So this loop will repeat 5 times. So I'm just going to get 5 pieces of data from the user, as in 5 records. So we ask here for the first name, the last name, the age. All right, pay attention to how the Gotoxy is used here. So I position the cursor. So because these will be in fixed locations. So let's just pull back our graphics. So position the cursor at 1, 1. And I ask for the first name. And I put a pointer at 1, 3. That means last name is going to come below. All right, so going to be prompting the user for the last name below the first name. Then we go 1, 5. That means contact is going to go below last name. Everything will be displayed starting at X value 1, as you can see here. All of them has 1. All right. So when we compile this, you will see it on the screen. Also, if you notice here, we have also used a clear screen. This clears the screen, wipe off anything that is on the screen. All right, so, and we would have used the arrays here to record the information. All right, so this reads the first name, the last name, contact. All right, so all of the information will be stored in the arrays. So let's just run this to see what it looks like first. All right, so notice where the first name is positioned. All right. All right. Age. Good. So because we have the clear screen in the loop, once I press enter, it's going to clear the screen and it's going to prompt me again to enter the data. All right, so that will continue 5 times. Now, the next thing that we did here is that we print out the headings. So whenever the data is, after the data is entered in the array, I went ahead to just display the headings before I actually print out the actual content of the array. So notice again how I use the Gotoxy. So the screen would have been cleared up to this point, CLRSCR. I position the cursor at 1, 1, like here. Then I go over in the same row. Notice the row number is the same. That's the Y value is the same. So I go all the way over to about 15 and I put last name. Then I go all the way over to 30 in the same row 1 and I put contact. I go all the way over to 60 and I put, one of these should be age. This should be age. All right. So use the Gotoxy to position the text. All right, again, now to print out the content, I did similar to how I did the numbers earlier on. So I use the Gotoxy to position the cursor where I want information to be printed. Of course, use our loop to traverse through. I'm doing it 5 times here. If I wanted to print out more than 5, I'll just simply change the number from 5. Similarly, I would have changed the number up here to a bigger number. So these arrays can store up to 20 values, but I'm just working with 5 for demonstration purposes. All right, so when we're printing out the content of the array, we simply position the cursor at the particular X value, which is going to be the particular column that we want the data to be printed starting at. So F name will be printed in column 1, which is X value 1. L name will be printed in column 15, which is X value 15. Contact will be printed in column 30, which is X value 30. Age in column 60, which is X value 60. If you notice here, the value of the row, which is the Y value, is actually represented using the variable Y, and we initialize Y to 2. What happens now is that the first row will be printed in the first set of values, or record will be printed in row 2. But as we go through, as we iterate through the loop, the Y value will be increased by 1, and so consequently, the other values will be printed in the subsequent rows. And so that will give us the columnar format that we desire. So if I should run this, some test data. So it's asking for name. Just putting in some random data. All right, so as you can see, our data has been displayed. All right, so you can manipulate your Gotoxy and you will definitely get the data displayed where you want it. Thank you.